Hey, welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Husker247 Daily. I'm Michael Bruntz. Brian Christopherson's over there. We're discussing the big game with Michigan coming up on Saturday. It's still Michigan week. Brian, how's it going? Are things ramping up? The excitement ramping up for you?
It's ramping, yeah. It's like it's a big roller coaster when you're hearing the clicks, click, click, click. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're clicking to the top. Let's start with a topic that we haven't discussed, which I think is okay this week, but it deserves discussion. Special teams. You've been writing about Michigan. You've done some interviews and things with our Michigan folks on 24/7 Sports. Is there Nebraska's been very steady on special teams, which given the recent history, you'll take that as a huge win. There's a little bit of trepidation on Michigan's side about kind of where their special teams are at after 3 games.
Yeah, they haven't been great. It doesn't sound like they've had some trouble fielding punts, which is interesting, of course, because as you know, the banana ball could pop up at any moment from
Yep.
Arch, and Archie Wilson, of course, can punt with either foot, and it comes off differently, and so that's tricky if you've been scuffling fielding it back there, and now you're in a game like this, and so maybe something bad happens there. Nebraska could use a play like that because it feels like over the years, recent years, that's always been Nebraska who's had that problem. So there's that. They return a kicker, Dominic Zavada, who was really good last year. Like he was 21 of 22, but he's missed a couple short ones recently. So, I mean, you don't know if that's in his head a little bit. And then their punter is he's been okay, like 41 yards a kick and nothing special there. So I got the impression, this is from their side, not my own opinion, that there's some questions to be answered. And so you feel like Nebraska, on the other hand, is in a better spot than they've been in quite a while. And now it's a matter of, can you go out and do the detailed stuff right? But I still wonder, though, Bruntz, about little things like a game like this. Like if you get too aggressive on the kick return and you get knocked down at your own 17 or something like that, that can be a really big play in a game like this. So I like Nebraska's chances to be a plus in this game on special teams. But there's things like that I'll be watching. And obviously with the kick coverage, the kickoffs, like, are you not giving them the ball on the 35-yard line? I mean, those sort of things with the kickoff exchanges, I think could be important in a game where every yard could be really important as far as the real estate game and trying to win field position.
Interestingly enough, Nebraska through 3 games this year, they're +4 in starting field position against Cincinnati, +17 and +17 against Akron and Houston Christian. That's been huge. And part of that's just willingness to catch punts. Part of it's, willingness to return punts. And I mean, that kind of a number, I mean, I'm not expecting +17 in this game, but if you're in the plus category even in there, I mean, that's a big deal in a game like this where it's probably going to be close and you're going to have to do the little things to win this one. What do you make overall of special teams for Nebraska through 3 games? I mean, we're 3 games into the Mike Eckler experience. Things seem to have been calmed a little bit. I mean, are you buying the improvement, or what do you need to see to really kind of buy into that group?
Yeah, I am buying the improvement. It's just to what degree. And obviously, I think the punting situation has improved, and that's not a knock on Buschini. The whole operation just wasn't quite together, I didn't feel like, last year. And obviously, he was worried he was going to get a punt blocked every week. And so I think that's different. I think they hit right on Archie. We've only seen him punt 3 times, and it feels like almost ridiculous to say, like, I really believe in this guy. But I do. Like, he just seems like he's born to punt, and that's his life. And I think he's going to be up for this. So Cunanan so far has been good. I wonder, too, if he handles kickoffs, because he did in that first game after they kicked it out of bounds, and he's not one of the guys who has kicked it out. And so maybe he just takes on everything. I'm not sure. But obviously he hasn't had a kick like he might have this weekend, although he hits a 52-yarder against Cincinnati that I thought in the moment was huge because they were down 3-0 and the game felt a little sideways, and he kind of got it on track. So he should be confident, Cunanan, going into this game if he has to hit a big one.
Definitely. It's been kind of a revelation how much better they've been on special teams this season so far. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. I think we hit on this a little bit yesterday, but John Butler talked after practice on Tuesday, talked about how basically philosophically and schematically they're going to be a little different than what they were against Cincinnati. They've changed some things. What does this game look like, or what does this game need to look like for Nebraska's defensive line for Nebraska to have success, do you think?
They just have to be disciplined in their rush lanes. I felt like in the second half they got off their skis a bit where you just saw Sorsby had a wide open. It doesn't matter that he's a good runner. It was just a wide open, like interstate type 2 lanes. Here you go on like his 130-yard scramble. And so they just have to be more cognizant of like, where am I supposed to be within relation to what is called on this play and my responsibility.
With Nebraska's defensive line too, since the Cincinnati game, you've seen Gabe Moore in there. You've seen Cade Petchak get in there as well as part of that rotation. What do you kind of make, I guess, of that rotation? I mean, do you feel like they're in a better place and have, kind of made that growth over the last couple games that you need to see from Cincinnati to where they are now?
I think they've made growth. I'm not sure how much yet. And it's just one of those, like, we can't speak too over the top about them until they go out in a Big Ten game against a team in Michigan that is not afraid in their history to just line up. And if they had to run it, I'm not saying they will, but if they had to run it 75% of the time, Michigan football will do that. Like they won a game last year against USC with the hand tied behind their back. They have a different quarterback now and all that. But the point is, it's in their DNA to like just challenge you up front. And especially with everyone here kind of wondering how good is Nebraska's D-line? How fast are they growing up? They're going to get an opportunity. I guess that's the way you would frame it to your guys, is this is your opportunity to shut some people up. Like you've heard that question mark thing about you all off season. You go up and you put a smack down and kind of stop the run game from Michigan. You've done a lot to doing that, but Michigan's going to do a lot of formational stuff too, where it's not just the D-line. The linebackers have to play really well for Nebraska and be in their fits well and tackle. You can't let Justice Haynes turn a 3-yard run into a 30-yard run, and he is very capable of doing that if you are not right with your tackling.
Dylan Raiola laid down the challenge to Nebraska fans on Tuesday. He wants it better and louder than Colorado in 2024, using that game and that atmosphere as your benchmark. Do we get a better atmosphere and louder atmosphere for Michigan in 230?
I don't think
or what do you think?
No, I appreciated what he was doing there. It's just that put the challenge out, right? I mean, try to one up that. I don't think they can. Maybe you can get close to matching it. There was so much venom for Colorado last year and the whole thing, and that goes back a ways. I don't know if there's as much about Michigan, although there is a little bit. There is a little bit of that 1997 discussion that still hangs in the air. There is a little bit of people who are annoyed with 2023 Michigan and everything that surrounded that. And so that's going to help bring the noise, I think, in this game. And 230 games can be some of the loudest. I think the 2016 game against Oregon was one of the loudest games I've heard in Memorial Stadium, especially in the last few minutes. So the key is Dylan can help his own cause. If they go down the field like on an early drive and can get the lead and play with the lead, they could make it very difficult. The fans could on Michigan's offense. And I think we saw in Arrowhead, Bruns, how they can affect the game. That's a 3-point game where Cincinnati had multiple false starts in kind of key spots that hurt some drives. One was late, but they had one early, remember, like in the second series or so, that kind of messed that drive up. So the fans know how they can change the game, and I think they're going to try to do that.
Nebraska would help their own cause by throwing a few early punches. Certainly, an early score, big early defensive play, something like that to get everybody into it right out of the gates would be really big for Nebraska's efforts against Michigan. We'll continue to have coverage throughout the week leading up to Nebraska's 2:30 CBS matchup with the Wolverines. We'll be back with another Husker 24/7 daily episode on Thursday.